So, if you don't know the Zombie, it's my 2003 C-Class wagon. It was last seen in episode 4 when we revealed the 5.8 litre 351 Cleveland V8 that's going to be going into the car. We also cut up another car, used it to wide body the Zombie, as well as put those monstrous drag wheels under it, and did loads of burnouts. Now, this episode is all about getting that engine finished, mounted in the car, and hopefully hear this thing firing up. Right, so it's been a day of painting today. What I've actually been doing is I've just been working through painting up the 351. As you would have seen in episode 4, the engine was blue when we finished rebuilding it previously, but it's going into the Zombie now. So what I've done is I've given it a nice new coat of satin black to make that pop, and it's going to match the car in a lot nicer.
He's taken ages doing it, by the way, coat after coat. He's had my heater on all day.
We've got to get it nice and warm, but it's all nice and satin black now. It's going to make all the ancillaries that are going on it that you'll see later on in this episode really pop as well. As you saw again in episode 4, we completely rebuilt this thing, but it's still just looking a little bit shabby, and it's not going to match either now, is it?
So, it's not. So it's been degreased, cleaned, wire brushed and everything, but sometimes you just can't defeat old metal.
No. So still got some nice of the satin black paint left over, so I'm going to go over that, give it a new lease of life, and get it all nice, fresh painted, ready to go in.
Slow it down, girl, you moving too fast for me. Nobody did it like this, so they wonder, they asking me if I can slow it down, cause it's coming too fast for me. I came up from the back.
This morning then, we're actually taking the harmonic balancer back off. It is a brand new harmonic balancer, but what we've decided to do is actually replace the timing gear in there. Now, I never replaced it when I rebuilt the engine because there wasn't much play in it, but just as a matter of course, we thought we'd pull it off, replace it, paint this plate as well, and then start again.
On my eyes too excited. It's the fruit of what you get for trying. Don't be selling no more, I'm just buying. I got to everything that you eyeing. Put my boots on and turn to a giant. This is fact, ain't no fictional writing. If I want to, I go right into hiding. Me and my lady somewhere.
Right, so that's the new timing chain and everything fitted into the 351. I've also painted up the harmonic balancer to get it matching in the rest of the black on the engine, and we've refitted the water pump. So a couple of good jobs done today. Now we're going to move on to the next.
Key. You gotta slow it down, girl, you moving too fast for me. Nobody did it like this, so they wonder, they asking me if I can slow it down, cause it's coming too fast for me. I came up from the bottom, now look at me now, they mad at me. I cannot slow it down, cause it's coming too fast for me. Nobody did it like this, so they wonder, they asking me if I can slow it down, cause it's coming too fast for me.
Right, exciting day today. We've just received the last few parts for the 351 from Summit Racing, so I'm going to get this unboxed. Getting really excited so we can finish the engine. Oh, goodies! Excellent. What we've got in here is a full fresh new bolt kit for the whole engine, so one, spruce everything up, and I know that everything's just tickety-boo and nice. In here we have, should be our, the second engine mount, seeing as we only got one last time. And then this. This is my valley pan and gasket kit to go underneath the tunnel ramp, so that completely finishes that off and I can get that all bolted in nicely. Once all that's done, we can finally run the engine up and get it in the Zombie. I've got a really fun day today and I'm very, very excited because what I'm doing is I'm going to be fitting this lovely piece of engineering here. So this is actually a hydraulic handbrake that's made by Motor Mech. It's got 4 individual outputs, obviously 1 to each brake, but I'm only actually using 2 of these. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be cutting this bracket down, fabricating a nice new one, so it will attach just onto the side of the center console in the Zombie. Now I'm going to be then running it through the bulkhead and attaching just the front brakes. So then what I can do is I can just pull this lever, lock out those fronts, release the rears, and do some big proper burnouts. So first job on the list though is I'm going to get this passenger seat out, give myself a bit more room, and then I can start fabricating. And there it is. So the Zombie's hydraulic handbrake is now in position, mounted, painted up. I've just finished doing the carpet around it, which I'm really chuffed with. Managed to get it looking really neat inside here. Unfortunately, there isn't an existing hole through the bulkhead for me to run the wires. So I'm going to be attacking that tomorrow. I'm just going to drill a nice hole, put a grommet around there, and then I can run the cables up and over, and then through straight onto the ABS unit, and then we can start actually fitting this thing, and then obviously we can start creating some smoke. So that's another job off the list. I've now finished the back bumper of the Zombie. It took a bit of work. I had to make some templates up to fit there, on the side there, and in the top where we'd left the big holes from bringing the bumper out to fit the wide body. But recycled some plastic that I had, moulded them nicely into shape, and then managed to mould them into the original bumper. And like I said, yeah, really pleased to see the back end finished. Right, so D-Day, or should we say C-Day, because the Cleveland's going to be going in the next couple of days. Job 1 is obviously to get the 2 litre out of the old girl.
Yep, so what we're going to do now is stick it on the ramp, put it up in the air, strip off the front end, start undoing everything underneath, and then we can get that big whopping V8 in.
Look, it's made to fit.
If you go to bearing man, and we want to go from that to that with varying length in between.
You always sound suspect.
I know, yeah. Do you know what? You don't ever want Rich quoting you on something. He's got that builder tone, hasn't he?
It's gonna cost.
It's gonna cost, yeah. What's woe mean? I don't know. Where are we going? What are you doing?
I don't know, I'm just gonna go. Do you want to go down?
Can you?
Go down just a bit. Is that...
You're gonna have to put a lot of weight on the back, mate, to tilt it. So I don't know if you want to climb in there with it, but you're gonna have to put a lot of weight on it.
Just mount it on my hand.
Come down again, yeah?
Yeah.
Right, so yeah, you're gonna have to stand on it, dude. That's
Yeah,
That's it. Coming in. Beep beep.
Right. Okay, you want to go down a bit now? Just start getting down the gearbox again.
No, the exhaust on the steering rack, dude.
That's about as far back as that exhaust will go there, mate.
That's tight.
Could it be worse? Take the manifold off, get it down, then put the manifold on afterwards, because then
It's round it almost, yeah.
There's not going to be enough room past the bell housing now, though, is there?
I think it's worth taking the headers off to put this in place, and then we'll know afterwards.
Yeah, I'm just looking at. There just doesn't seem to be anywhere that it's. It's not like it's going to go. It's not going to squeeze down in between the exhaust and the bell housing.
Right, so the bit we're just moving at the moment is we've actually got the manifold on this side. So with the manifold on, it's just hitting the steering column. This engine obviously being at a left-hand drive car, the manifold's a little bit bigger on this side, so it doesn't kind of allow for any space for it. So we're going to take it off, get the engine in place and make the mounts, and then we'll come back to the exhaust after. Right, so what we're doing at the moment is we've checked and we've found a sweet spot basically where the gearbox lines up with the existing prop shaft, but what we're looking at now is the exhaust is still going to be hitting the actual steering column. So we're looking, because some of these engines you can actually flip and rotate the headers round basically, so we're looking side to side with them, so we're going to take them off and see if that is the case with this engine.
Okay, so as Slater said before, what we've actually just tried doing is I've just taken both manifolds off and tried to actually flip them. We did have both had a funny feeling that that they wouldn't actually fit. We could potentially get them on, but the new positioning, doing that with the exhaust, is actually making things worse. So what I'm actually doing now is I'm just having a look on the Tinterweb to see if we can find a 351 Cleveland header plate, and then what we can actually do is we can actually just build our own headers to suit it to the position that we need. So that should be jobs are good, and it's just getting them as fast as we can. So I'm going to try and get on that now.
So you can make the plates ourselves, just a flat piece of steel, get your exhaust gaskets, draw it out, drill them through, die grind them out. So it's all achievable, so that's easy for you to do while I do the mounts then, isn't it? Right, so the engine's just come back out, so what I'm actually going to do is weld it in the engine mounts permanently now. So we've got the angle, made them up, and actually give it a proper weld.
Right, so after a couple of hours probably of rushing around like headless chickens trying to find a new starter motor, we decided that we can't get another starter motor, so we've modified this one, and now it's all fitted nicely. Just had to slightly modify / hit it with a hammer on the little lip that's come off the bottom of the pan, but that fits in nicely, so that's all fitted. So another one off the list. Also, got our V-belt back on now, and that's all nice and tensioned in. Also, you may have noticed at some point I've been grinding away this. Because of the size of the tunnel ram and the Hyperspark Dizzy that I'm running on this, it was catching just on the front of the tunnel ram, so I've just been smoothing that off so we can get all that in, but I'm going to be doing that when when we've actually got the engine in position in the car, because we don't need to be worrying about that right now. So a couple more jobs off and we'll get that a little bit closer. Right, okay, so what I'm doing at the moment is, unfortunately, there's been a bit of a delay on some of the parts that I've ordered. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to make our own line to go on the side of the gearbox for the gearbox cooler lines. So a little bit of a fail-safe, just so that we can get the engine run up, and then when the parts get delivered, I'll take this back off and refit the proper lines in. So I'm just going to make that. I'm just going to flare this out so I can get the terminals on, and then we can screw it into the gearbox. So another job done. Okay, so I'm just going to remove this, and that should be the one side flared off nicely. I'll show you this. For anybody who's never flared their own brake lines, very, very simple, to be fair. Just take that out of there. You can see it's just nicely flared into that. Then the fitment goes back in. Nice seal, so I'm just going to Repeat the same process on that side and then get it pumped into the gearbox. Right, so that whole pipe's made up now. I've just got to bend it into shape to come out of here and into there. So this is the bypass that I was mentioning before. So that it just gives that the oil, the pressure and everything to run through the gearbox just for running up, and then like I say, when everything gets delivered, I can then remove this and actually fit it all properly with the proper parts.
I've just paused for thought. We're doing the engine mounts at the moment. I've got one more blanking plate to do on the end, but they are absolutely rock solid, so chuff with that.
Yeah.
Shepherd, where are you up to?
I've been making the gearbox cooler lines. What we've ended up doing, I was just going to bypass them initially, but what we've actually going to do now is I've made the whole pipe all the way through and just going to run it right to the front of the engine, so that when we get the actual fittings in, we can just cut them off and then plumb it straight into the rad. So yeah, good progress on that. The engine's going to go back in now. I'm going to get it sat down, mark where the mounting bolts are going to go through, and then obviously we can crack on from there, can't we? So, engine back in again. No slack.
Doesn't look out of place there, does it?
Caught in the door, get caught in the door, get caught in the door. Boom. She doesn't look out of place at all, does she?
There we go. Right, so we're calling it a night. It's just about to turn midnight. We've had a bit of a debacle of an afternoon because the ramp has packed in. We've been trying to fix that and ordered parts which have come all the way from Walsall and still no longer fixed. Onward and upward tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
Right, so what I've been doing here is I've actually got the original C-Class engine mount. I've then put this piece of box on top of it, and then I've got the gearbox mount for the C4 transmission that I've then mounted on top of this. The bracket here also spaces it and offsets it very slightly, so then the gearbox is all mounted. Right, I've just started putting the Holley EFI system on, so that starts with the kind of carburettor replacement here. The ECU for this is actually built into the front of the unit, and then it's got all these lovely sealed plugs that come off it. So I'm going to start wiring up everything else, starting with the fuel pump at the back of the car. I'm actually just routing this blue wire now, so this blue wire comes from the front all the way to the back, and that actually gives the on-off power for the fuel pump. What we have just assessed is the fact that the cap, this being the new Holley EFI system, is completely different to the old one. And the old one we had the leads for, the new ones we don't. So now we're on a bit of a quest to see if we can make that fit, whether it is swapping the lid over or whether it is completely rewiring the leads. But either way, we're going to keep pushing on.
See if you can notice what's not fitted correctly.
Oh, you've still got the plastic cap on.
There it is. There it is.
Won't run without that on. There we go.
See, you know. Everything else is fine. Yeah, in the middle there, which is a pink.
Up its arse.
You got a Jubilee.
Find a Jubilee, you getting on, mate? What about that, was it? Straight out of Richard's wardrobe, this.
Forget.
Put that on there. Go in there?
Mate.
Do you want to say a prayer?
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Hold it.
Crank it like you crank it.
I'm so scared. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Nothing.
You got the battery connected.
Fucking hell, Slayer. Don't do this.
Crank it.
Everything clear?
Yeah. Ooh.
Strip all the shit off.
What, all the jump packs?
Yeah, take it all. Duct taped on.
Okay. Have you got the other cap then, Chef? Let's get this one off.
The other cap doesn't work.
Well, we're going to make it work, dude. That's the point.
Just turn the ignition off. Okay.
Contacting or not?
Yeah, it looks like it's making a contact.
Has it made any marks on it, or?
No, it won't make marks.
It's whether or not we do what we did with that one. Squeeze all those ends in.
Yeah, make them on there. Yeah,
Put them onto there.
What's the difference between all this?
This is the.
that's the genuine Holley EFI cap. The top half of it. So the top's different, you see. So we'd have to clamp every single thing to get them on. The leads are scrap anyway, so it's whatever we can.
So that's
the genuine one.
drop with the bolts. There's the bolts.
So you put the arm back on, yeah? The arm in the right place as well.
Yeah, it's in the locator. Just double check. Shep, just blip the ignition.
Go on.
Well, that's rotating. That's fine. That's engaged in the drive.
I'll let you do that one at a time, mate.
Take the oil out. Are we going in the same pattern?
Yeah, exactly the same, dude. Firing order.
So on the clip there. So what's the firing order of this engine?
That's next one round, I don't know if I can go digging. And then I've got one more lead that I've just dropped, which is round here somewhere. That's it.
Where's that duff spark?
Right. Giving her a whirl to see if we've got spark in, are we?
Hold it down here.
No, why wouldn't that have spark?
So have we got feed now to coil?
The power feed, where do they go?
Straight round, and then that goes into the red and the white.
Over the white. The white doubles back on itself.
Hold on, no. These go into the box, and then the box comes out down into the red and white.
You got no power there. Is ignition on?
There's no power there.
Is ignition
Is the ignition on? Have you got the screen on?
Screen's on.
Just crank her over. Stop. There's nothing coming from that. So we've got a problem with power to the coil. I think call it a night, get a battery, put a battery in it, go through everything. Yeah, make sure we haven't missed anything on that coil. See if you can find out what reference voltage you should get at that coil. One thing I'd be inclined to do tomorrow is pull every single one of them plugs out and turn it over when you've got a battery in it. Because that will eliminate any locking up of the engine. If she spins over free as a daisy, happy days, we're fine. Put it all back together, done.
Right, so we're currently working on a bit of an overtime at the moment. As you can see, the engine's being pulled back out because unfortunately when we were running it up again, the starter motor's failed on us. But luckily I've got another one, so Slater's putting that on. I'm just doing the last bits of the gearbox ancillaries. It's easier for me to get to while it's out. So we'll get these bits on, chuck it back in, and then go for a proper fire up again.
Do it.
Ready?
Ready. Come on, girl. It is that close. I can go again. Right, go on.
Jesus. You're on the tune. Oh, that's loud. Ready?
Yeah, ready.
Yeah.
Go.
Ready, go. Oh my god! Now that sounds evil as Oh my god!
It's in the zombie!
Oh my god!
It's in the zombie!
What is this going to be like when it's on the road? Standing like that down the road, like, yeah, you're right. What have we done? What have we done? What have we done? Oh god! Oh my god! This is amazing. Me, that sounds evil.
I just want to run it up now, do you know what I mean? As in, like, you know, 2,500 rep.
Right, so there you go, guys. The 351 is in the zombie, running, happy as Larry, and I can tell you this thing sounds so savage, it's unbelievable in person.
Yep, so for now, we are actually going to leave the episode there, but tune in for another episode when you're going to see this thing out, running, driving, and actually doing some proper burnouts.